Show me what you got. Hey, show me what you got. Hey.
What's going on, YouTube? This is Calico the Truth Reviews, and I'm back again with another video. Today I'm with the wife, and we are going to do our 15 tips for first-time cruises on your next cruise. All right. So, without further ado, wifey is here with me. She is very excited about talking about this subject. Of course, we wanted to always get into this subject matter just to help first-time cruisers out when they decide they want to cruise for their next vacation. All right. So, number one, arrive early a day before your cruise to make sure you are on time. Otherwise, you risk being left by the ship if you arrive late or plane gets delayed. Now, that's an interesting subject matter to get into because we always arrive a day early before our cruise. We never want to always get confused in the mass confusion of we worrying about if our flight gets delayed, or we got to deal with certain circumstances of, okay, we're going to miss our cruise ship. I think even my wifey, even she had was watching somebody on somebody's cruise group, and they
it was our cruise group.
Was it art? No.
Well, the sailing before our cruise, the sailing on our ship before ours, somebody left out the day of, and it was really bad storms in Florida. And they actually got diverted. I think they were flying into Orlando, but they got diverted into some other city that was like 3 hours away.
Ooh, yeah.
Can't remember. So they ended up having to drive. They just barely made it on the ship by like 30 minutes.
Yes, definitely arrive on time. And also pre-plan for your cruise. Like us, we always, when we doing our pre-cruise vlog stuff, that's us leaving out a day early because we already know things happen. You know, anything may happen. You know, I don't recommend anybody leave out the day of their cruise to get on their cruise. I don't recommend it, but some people will do what they want because, hey, you know, if you live by the cruise port or you live in the surrounding area and it's not too much of a drive, then I can understand the convenience. But for most people like us,
I don't think I would. Even if we drove to Orlando, that's what, like 6 hours from here. I still wouldn't want to do it the day of.
Yeah, because we stay in Atlanta, so it doesn't make any sense for us to actually, you know, leave out the day of for our cruise. So we always just wanted to stress that to you guys to help you first time cruisers out. Yeah. Let's see. And then let's move on to number two. All right, guys. So number two, bring documents, preferably passport or birth certificate. And they also do require for you to have your ID present upon you going to the cruise port. All right. Let's see. And then also they want you to print out your luggage tags and your cruise documents before you check in. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Now, when you bring your documents, we're talking about your paperwork that you have to print out when they actually send you over your travel documents. Once you fully paid for your cruise, everything is already green lighted and all systems go. All right, so you ready to get on that cruise ship? The excitement is starting to get real. So we actually brought a luggage tag just to show you guys what it looks like. But you want to definitely print out a luggage tag. This is mine, you know, but this is just for an example. What a luggage tag looks like. You can actually buy this little sleeve here on Amazon. I don't think it costs any. I think
we got like 4 of them for like $6.
Yeah, like $6. These are very inexpensive. Yeah. These are what we put on our luggage when we actually sell out.
Just so the tag doesn't get ripped, it doesn't, you know, fall off or anything like that. It's convenient. Yeah. So it works.
Definitely. Make sure you bring your documentation. Otherwise, you can't get on that ship, all right? You definitely want to bring your documentation. And nowadays, most cruise lines, they're requiring people to get their passports for most of their sailings nowadays, depending on where you're going. So I always recommend people to get their passports. I know I do need to get my passport for sure.
Yeah, I have to renew mine. And if you bring a birth certificate, just make sure it is an official copy with a seal on it, because they won't take a photocopy.
So you hear that? Very noted. All right, we got to notate that. All right, so number 3, always call the cruise line to confirm what documents you need for your specific cruise or your sailing. All right. So I always call the cruise line because I always want to get verification. I always want to know exactly what do I need to bring with me when I come on that ship, as far as my documentation, whether it be a passport, birth certificate. Of course, you're required with your ID. Of course, that. So you definitely want to do your research. All right. Don't never take it for granted. Always call the cruise line to always get confirmation, whether you need information or anything. Don't feel like the question that you may ask may seem dumb. There's no dumb questions in cruising. All right. Always ask questions because you definitely want to stay informed and you don't want to be out of the loop. All right. So you got anything to add to that, babe?
No, it's a good tip. You never know. Rules might change. You just never know.
All right. Number 4, always book your flight in advance or a rental car in advance so you know how you are commuting to and from the cruise port, whether it's Uber or Lyft. Now, with our recent experience from going to Orlando Airport, we actually rented that one BMW convertible, which we loved. We loved that car so much. We still miss it to the day.
But we rented it super early, so we got a good deal. I think we only paid like $85.
Yeah,
as nice as that car was,
we
paid $85 for it.
Yeah, it was really, really, really nice. Listen, it was, side note, it was a attention. It was getting a lot of attention. All right, I was getting a lot of attention with that car, but I don't recommend y'all do that. Okay, but you can always look up transportation to and from the port, whether that's, I think it's that little bus service that we got on when we left, when we disembarked the ship. I think it was only like $30 per person or something like that.
Yeah.
But you can always.
And we didn't book it in advance like we should have. We were gonna get a Uber or a Lyft because keep in mind if you're sailing out of Port Canaveral, it's like 45 minutes away from the airport. So the Ubers are not that cheap. That's why we opted to rent a car because we knew we wanted to go to dinner and stuff like that. It was just going to be too much.
And, same thing applies for like Carnival as well. Like, when we went on our Carnival Horizon trip to Miami, like I got a recent comment in the comment section from a subscriber actually asking me about what are there, any places within walking distance of where your hotel may be, just like our hotel that we stayed in Miami. We didn't really have,
because we stayed by the airport. We didn't stay by the port.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you stay in Miami. My parents, when they just went on their cruise, they stayed right by the port. So it was a ton of stuff around where they were at.
Yeah. Always be aware of that. When you decide that you're going to book a cruise, always do your research on what may be in the vicinity of where you may be staying as far as a hotel, how far is your commute. You always want to do your research when you definitely book these cruises, all right?
Because it didn't make sense to rent a car in Miami.
I agree.
Because it was, the port was super close to the airport. And then everywhere you go in Miami, it costs to park. So you're going to be paying to park that car, So it just made sense to get Ubers in Miami. But Orlando is different.
Yep, very true. Very true. All right. So without further ado, let's get on to the next subject. Well, let's get on to the next tip. All right. Tip number 5. When getting on the ship, always take care of your mustard drill first. Now, for that specific tip, always take care of your mustard drill first for one specific reason. It's because without that mustard drill, you're holding up the ship. And that means that they can't leave without you actually doing your muster drill. And you risk the chance of you actually getting kicked off the ship because you haven't completed your safety drill. Therefore, you're inconveniencing not only the cruise line, but you're also delaying the ship as well. So you always want to take care of that first when you get on the ship. Always be aware of that. Always take care of your muster drill first.
Yeah.
All right?
Super easy, super quick.
Super easy, super quick. Simple, straight, effective, straight to the point. All right. So let's move on to the next tip, shall we? All right. So number 6, do research on your cruise before you book. Research your itinerary. All right. So that means do your research on what ports you're going to be going to. Also do your research on just the different things that they got going on around the ship as far as any activities they may have on the ship or anything you may be interested in. Just always do your research.
Yeah, because every restaurant's not on every ship.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
certain bars you might enjoy on other ships might not be on newer ships. Just like I like water slides and all that. I was shocked that Allure didn't have water slides. So,
Yeah, that was
you know,
very
do your
funny.
research. It wasn't a deal breaker, but I was just like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen a cruise ship without a water slide.
Yeah, I haven't
It was
either,
different.
but that was definitely different. But you got to think about it. That ship came out in like 2010, so
Yeah, I mean, I've been on a ship that came out in '92 and it had water slides.
true. I mean, even Horizon had water slides, but I mean,
We didn't get on them.
But we didn't get on them though. I mean, because we just kind of was.
Just do the research on what it is you want to do, and just make sure it's on the ship, and make sure you're going somewhere you want to go.
Correct. All right, which takes me over to number 7, which kind of coincides into that same tip from number 6. Is number 7: always book your excursions in advance and never wait till the last minute. All right, so number 7 is always book your excursions in advance, never wait till the last minute. Now, I'll tell you specifically why. Because you definitely want to catch them when they got good pricing. You don't want to wait till the last minute. You always want to get in on those excursions so that you can be able to have fun. You don't want to wait till you get on that ship and then, say for instance, all those bookings for that excursion is gone. And now you risk,
Not
trying to
being
book.
able to do it.
Yeah, not being able to do it, or you book with an outside, person as far as like at that port, but they might, I don't recommend anybody book any excursions outside of the ship.
They might be cheaper, but it just could be a bigger risk, and if it runs late, the cruise line won't wait for you.
The cruise line will not wait for you if you don't get back on that ship at that time that they request everybody be back on board. So please, please get back on that ship on time.
That's why we try to, if we do excursions, unless it's something that's like an all-day thing, if we book excursions, we try to get like the early ones. So
I agree.
We don't rush.
Which takes us over to number 8, guys. Book your drink package in advance. Do your research on pricing and availability. Now, whether if you like to drink or not, see me, I'm a drinker. My wife, she doesn't drink, but just do your research, because we both like the soda package. That's why we normally go for that. And if we decide we want to buy drinks, then we'll buy a drink or two when we're on the ship or whatever. We're not really big drinkers like that. Me, I'm a social drinker, so I like to drink around good people that I know and like. And, some of you good people that I've met on the ships here and there, I like drinking with you guys too.
Yeah, I'm not a big drinker at all. So that drink I had on the ship, it's almost the end of June. That was the first drink I had all year. So.
Yikes. Anyway. Yeah, you definitely want to book those drink packages in advance, but sometimes you can catch deals like maybe 2 to 3 weeks out from your cruise. Sometimes they'll reduce the prices, just depending on how new that ship is or depending on what the availability is. I would definitely recommend that you go ahead and book it anyways, but if the pricing does change, then you can probably call a cruise line and they'll actually adjust the price for you.
If it's something that's in limited quantity, I would say call a cruise line to have them adjust the price. But if it's something like a drink package or something like that that doesn't have a limit, you can just cancel it and rebook it and get the cheaper price.
Very much true. Very true. All right. Which brings me over to number 9. Book an internet package only if you need to be connected to the outside world. Now, you don't necessarily need internet on a cruise, but if you like to do certain things on the ship like Instagram or Facebook, or you like to actually be connected to the outside world, cool. The cruise lines these days, they have phenomenal internet packages that will suit each and everyone's needs. Now, it's a little bit expensive. It's on the pricey side, but I digress. I mean, you might have to go ahead and go ahead and do that if you decide you want to be connected to the outside world.
Or you can be like me and just use his login when he sleep and get on the internet Or just find a restaurant in port that has free Wi-Fi. Because I refuse. No.
I mean, listen,
No.
listen. I feel like this. You got to pay to play sometimes, all right? You got to pay to play, all right? So sometimes...
Record your videos with your phone camera first, and then go and upload them to Instagram with somebody else's login.
True. All right. True. All right. We're going to move over to this next tip, which is tip number 10. Always communicate to the cruise line if you have any food allergies with the cruise line in the main dining hall or restaurants aboard the ship. Now, that's very important because you definitely don't want to be out there cruising and then you get sick on board or you get sick outside the ship anywhere. Then you have to go to a hospital, and then, you know, you risk the chance of not being able to get back on that ship, and then you might have to pay an additional cost to fly back home or fly to that cruise port to get your bags or whatever the case may be, and that's an additional cost or fee for that particular sailor. So you got to be able to just understand that running these cruise ships, you know, you got to definitely be careful what you eat. Also, be careful of the things that you consume, because we learned our lesson from this previous cruise with Allure of the Seas when a lot of people got sick during our sailing. So
yeah, it didn't happen to us, but you know,
yeah.
A cruise is good for exploring foods, but I don't get too crazy. Like I'm not trying to be sick, you know.
Yeah. Definitely watch how much you consume. You definitely don't want to be overeating. Even though, yes, you are going to be eating morning. You're going to be eating morning, noon, and night. All right. Sometimes you're going to be eating
snacks in between.
Yeah, with snacks in between and incentives. All right. You're going to see incentives on the ship.
That pizza come in handy sometimes.
Yeah, that pizza definitely came in handy. I'm not even going to lie about that. That pizza was nice. All right?
Whatever night that was, we was up at like 1 a.m. down there getting pizza.
Yeah, we was definitely going in. All right. We was going in. Let's move over to tip number 11. All right. Bring seasickness medicine. Now, that's one thing that we definitely stress when we go on our cruises. We always bring in Dramamine. You got bands and all type of other things.
Just in case.
Also, seasickness patches you can put behind your ear.
Got some of those too.
That can also prevent you from actually getting sick on board the cruise. Yeah. There's been maybe a couple times where I've actually felt sick on the ship and I actually had to...
You felt sick on the one last year.
Yeah, on one day I did.
Yeah, and I felt sick, like, I think on day 2 on Allure. I was starting to feel like a little nauseous, and I took the Dramamine in like 20 minutes. I was good, and I didn't have an issue the rest of the cruise. But not even just seasickness medicine. Make sure you have aspirin.
Yep.
Because I get headaches, migraines. I keep aspirin. We brought, what was it? Pepto in the little pill form.
Yep.
Because if you eat too much, you know, your stomach's upset, bring that.
Yep.
What else did we have? I was just getting over a cold, so I had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, definitely bring your own personal medication. You definitely want to keep that on your person. You don't want to risk putting that in your main luggage. Always put it in your main book bag or on you.
Yeah.
Always bring your personal medication because you definitely don't want to be getting sick on anybody's cruise.
Exactly.
That's just a terrible way to enjoy your cruise. All right.
Just those 3 at minimum: aspirin, Pepto, and seasickness medication.
Very, very
standard.
True. That is standard. All right, standard. All right, number 12. Always bring a non-surge protected cord. Now, you can bring a non-surge protected cord with you on your cruise ship of your choice. I'll link a few in the description on Amazon, and I'll also insert a clip of the surge protected cord right here just to show you what it looks like. But also, non-surge protected cords are just handy, man. Like whenever you decide you got a lot of equipment, a lot of phones, you want to, because a lot of cruise ships, they don't have a lot of outlets near the bed that you actually
particularly older ones.
Yeah, and you basically sitting there in the bed and you can't even enjoy your phone because it's all the way on the other side of the room, or it's wherever it may be.
Cell phones and MacBooks and iPads and cameras and microphones and batteries.
It starts to get very, starts to be getting very,
Apple Watches, everything.
Very claustrophobic on the ship. Then once you start getting all those devices together,
bit much in the room.
No, I'm just playing. But you know,
But yeah, those two little outlets that they have is not gonna cut it.
Yeah, those two outlets that they have on the ship.
It was three on the vanity, and then it was like one up under the vanity.
And I think I think it was one behind the bed, but we couldn't.
But
really
the
reach
lamps and the phone and stuff was in that, so you would have had to unplug stuff. It wasn't meant to be accessible, but it was one there. But I don't even think I saw one in the bathroom. You know, usually they have one in there if you had like a shaver or something like that. But
that's
I think it was like 4 in total in the room.
Yeah.
One that doubled as an international outlet.
Yeah, I agree, 100%, 100%. All right, so let's move on to tip number 13. All right, so bring a light jacket and cruise clothing you will be comfortable in aboard your sailing. All right, so that goes without saying. Always bring your shorts, bring your swimming trunks. All right, bring some sweats and some pants in general, because you never know, it does get cool on the ship in certain areas around the ship, whether you're eating in the main dining room or if you're walking the deck at night on the top deck. It's gonna actually get cool up there because of the waves in the ocean. So just always be aware of that, because you definitely want to be comfortable aboard your cruise. Yeah. You definitely don't want to be cold when when you're in these places.
Or even in shows, like
in shows
it was kind of cool in the ice skating rink, and in the theater where we saw the comedy show. It was freezing in there. That's why I fell asleep.
Yeah,
the comedians were hilarious, but it was so cold and that chair was comfortable. I went to sleep.
Yeah. So always be aware of that, guys, because she just said it clear as day. All right.
Put me right
so
out.
Always be aware. All right. So number 14. Always research gratuities on board your sailing and prepay them if possible. All right. So with your gratuities, you definitely want to prepay your gratuities before you get on your ship, because if you wait to pay them after the cruise, then it's just going to be another hassle. You're going to have to go to guest services, stand in a line and wait until, you can actually be able to talk to a service rep there in guest services and talk to them about prepaying your gratuities. And then now it costs more when you could have just went on ahead and paid them up front. We always prepay our gratuities up front. That's just one of the things that we always recommend to first-time cruisers when they get aboard these ships. Always prepay your gratuities. Yeah. That way it's just one less thing that you got on your mind. And also, you don't want to be shocked when you get a bill at the end of your sailing, because they will give you a bill at the end of your sailing. They're like, yeah, you remember that drink you got? It's time to pay the piper. All right, it's time
almost
to pay.
as fun as watching pier runners, watching the people on the last day at guest services.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of times, a lot of them are upset and they are raising sand about their bills. So I'm telling you guys right now, always prepay your gratuities. Even with your stateroom attendant, if you can leave a tip for them, cool. Prepaying your gratuities and also your stateroom attendant is always a plus if you got the funds to be able to prepay your gratuities as well as look out for your stateroom attendant, because they do work hard on that ship, all right? Now, our last and final tip, number 15. Have fun. You're about to be on vacation, all right? There's nothing better than kicking back and relaxing and taking in the sights and exploring different places. But also be aware of different things that can happen going to these ports. Always be aware of your surroundings. Do not just buy anything from any and everybody. Always be observant of your surroundings. I can't say that enough. Yeah, what you think, babe?
Yeah, just enjoy yourself, Enjoy the fact that you are off work or don't have to deal with the kids or whatever it is, Just have a blast. For sure.
Very much true. And then also, if you like this video, please give me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And then also, if you're a new subscriber here, I definitely want to invite you to take part in joining my channel. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I had some fun with this video, always recording videos with the wife, because sometimes she definitely has a busy schedule. So it's always a great time to definitely sit back and enjoy talking about cruising with the wife. All right. So with that said, this is the end of the video. I hope we answered majority of you guys' questions. And if you also in need of any advice or any more questions, notate that down in the comment section, and we will be glad to answer any of your questions. All right. And with that being said, you guys take care of yourselves and each other. This has been Calico the Truth Reviews and the wife, and we're going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.